Good afternoon and welcome to our final video for our matter and change unit. We've actually made it through a lot. We started off talking about the properties of matter, then we moved on to the states, then we moved to the types. Now we're actually going to look and see how we can distinguish between physical and chemical changes in matter. So again, started off just looking at the outside and trying to get a clear picture of what those properties were. Then moved on to the states, looking at things at the particulate level or down at the particle level. Then the types of matter that we'll run across. Now we're going to see what happens when we change matter. This is going to be something that we'll continue to look back on throughout the year. So let's go ahead and jump in with our physical changes. Now, a physical change will change the visible appearance without changing the composition of the material or changing what it's made of. So if we look at our diagrams, our pictures here to the side, notice that the glass is being broken, it's being shattered. Now, although we're looking at it and we're seeing that the pieces are being broken into very, very small chunks and shards, that would be very dangerous, we're noticing that it's all still glass. So there's been no change to the actual material other than the shape that we find it in. Same thing is happening here. The person is tearing paper, but overall it's still paper. So our examples for this would include things like boiling, melting, cutting, bending, splitting, or cracking. If I go through any of these things, that means even if I'm going from solid ice to liquid water to water vapor in a gas form, I haven't changed the fact that it's still made of H2O. So it's actually going to still be a physical change. Okay? Make sure that we understand that. Now, on the other side, if we look at our chemical change, this is going to be a change where we come up with a new form of matter. So I may have started off with two compounds or one compound, and by the end of the reaction, I have something brand new. Now, if we're looking here at our example, we notice we have a clear liquid, and somehow it's actually making this bright yellow, bright orange solid. How do we get from here to here? What happened that caused that to happen? That's where we're going to look at what happens down at the particle level, the rearranging of the atoms. And because we changed the rearrangement, we're actually going to change how the compounds behave. Examples of this would include things like burning, rusting, when something decomposes or rots, and something ferments. Now, notice that this is when something is actually going through the reaction. I bring this up because remember at the beginning we talked about chemical properties, and we said that that is the ability to go through these processes. So, chemical properties is saying that it could if it was in the right situation. Chemical change is where we're actually changing it into a completely different situation. Okay? So where it actually rusts or burns or decomposes, that is a change. Where it has the ability to do so, that is a property. Okay? Now, if a chemical change occurs, we want to know what to look for. Here are a couple hints. First, production of a gas. Not by heating, but mixing the two things and it begins to bubble or do anything like that. Production of a solid, precipitate, that's what we're seeing here. We're mixing the liquids and all of a sudden we get this solid that forms. Production of heat or light energy. A change in color from original to a new unseen color. So if I mix something that's yellow and white and when I mix them it becomes yellow, that's not a change. That's just the fact that it got mixed. And last but not least, a change in temperature. Now, these are just some of the things that we'll look at throughout this year. My hope is that you will have a great day, a great evening, and rewind if need to, write down any questions so that we can make sure that we answer them and that you are ready and prepared for your upcoming exam. Have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you in class.